Well, welcome to Business Minds Coffee Chat. The purpose of this show is to talk to business leaders, entrepreneurs, and other business owners about what's happening in their businesses and to be able to share some insights and some information that would be helpful to other business owners, especially during a time like this when we are in the midst of a pandemic and we're all forced to do things differently. So on these chats, we're having other business leaders who are pivoting, they're doing things differently, they are figuring out what it takes to not only survive, but thrive in these very challenging times. So on today's Business Minds Coffee Chat, I am honored to have Monica Leonard with me. And Monica is the owner of Molly's Suds. She has a very interesting story. And she's not only a mother, she is a pediatric nurse, she's a wife, she's a successful entrepreneur, and runs a very successful business. So I wanted to introduce Monica to everyone. Monica, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jay. I appreciate you for having me.
Absolutely. So why don't we start by you sharing a bit about your origin story, about your business, and how you started your business.
Sure. So my husband and I, in 2005, we lost our daughter, Molly. She was stillborn. And after this tragedy, for me, again, like you said, I used to be a pediatric nurse. So I have that science brain. I began to search for the potential cause of our tragedy. And in my research, I found that there was substantial evidence that the chemicals in our laundry and household cleaners are just not safe. There were some studies that were done on newborns, and it showed that some of the chemicals that we use every day in our laundry and household cleaners are actually already circulating in the blood of newborns. That was very alarming to me. And you may not, a lot of people don't realize that these chemicals in the leading laundry detergent brands, which are what most people use, they can break through our skin barrier, which is not only our largest organ, but it protects our bodies from these chemicals that can be harmful to our health. There's some, confusing chemical names, and there's lack of labeling requirements. And so it makes it really hard to know what is truly safe for your family. And I believe after finding this out that I had a responsibility to make a difference. And over time, I realized that I couldn't find a safe alternative for laundry detergent. And I went to my husband and I was like, I want to start a laundry detergent company. The story could be made much longer, but that was the gist of it. And that is why we created Molly's Suds. We provide effective laundry and household cleaners that are truly safe for people, and in turn, they are safe for the planet. And this gives people the ability to feel good about the products that they bring into their home. So we started in 2008, 3 years after the loss of our daughter, Molly. And my husband works in the insurance industry, so he today even still works a full-time job. And it was up to me to, with his guidance, because he has a lot of really good business sense, to figure out what this was going to look like. We started out in me just selling at farmers markets, which was really perfect looking back because it was free market research. And over time, developed this really great, amazing, super safe 5-ingredient laundry detergent that is effective and safe. And from there, we have built on that product. 2012, we got into our first retail location, Rollin' Oats, here in St. Petersburg, Florida. And in 2014, let me back up a little bit. From 2012 to 2014, we ramped up this business that was just, hand mixing in a bowl to getting these big, my husband had this great idea for these cement mixers that we could have powder coated and make all of our detergents in there. After work, he would come home and we would have an assembly line of making detergent and packaging it up and getting it out. And that just continued to build. And in 2014, we got our first warehouse. And I was so scared, not knowing how to fill this warehouse up. What were we going to do? And we grew. And in 2016, we grew to a bigger warehouse. And then in 2018, we finally were able to purchase our own warehouse. And we are located in St. Petersburg, Florida. And we are today at 19,000 square feet and growing like crazy. And last year we increased our employees by 50%. And our products, we launched 22 new SKUs. And so 2020 vision planning was so exciting for us, and we were ready to hit the ground running. And then coronavirus hit. And so it's been, it went from this great excitement to what are we going to do? And this is real life. About 4 weeks ago, I had all of our employees sit in the shipping department. And this was whenever, I guess it's been about 5 weeks ago now. And everyone was looking at me like, why are we even talking about this coronavirus thing? And I'm like, listen, it's the nurse side of me. All I'm telling you is we need to prepare now so that when and if shit hits the fan, we're ready. And I don't want to be scrambling at the last minute. And so right then we implemented just some mild advice for them in regards to hand cleaning and try to reduce your exposure around other people. This is what's going to look like here. Our goal is to keep you safe. You are essential to our business. Our warehouse staff is. Everybody else could work from home. We've never done it before, but we could figure that out. And so about, let's see, on March 16th was a Monday. That was the first day 5 of our staff started working from home. The Friday before, I had asked them to take their computers home just in case there was going to, be a situation where I felt it would be in best interest of our warehouse staff to reduce their risk. And so everybody did. They took home their files and their computers. Some people had to borrow a computer from us. Some people had to borrow a printer. And Monday morning, or Sunday, I sent a text out just letting the people know that did that, just to assume they're going to work from home. And so immediately it was, how am I going to run a business that it has both a physical location and then 5 other virtual locations? And we've never done this before. So somebody from my team, again, you don't have all the answers, so glean from your other team members. Hey guys, what are some ideas we can implement? And one of my team members said, well, why don't we do some project-based software? It's called Basecamp. And we had tested it, and I was pretty resistant, to be honest. And what I realized was that we really did need something to where I could feel like, not micromanaging by any means, but I don't know what everybody's working on. And now I've got this company that is spread out everywhere. And so I needed to know, like, what are we working on? And I needed to make sure that they stayed motivated and that they realized that the expectation is to make believe you're sitting in that office. What are we doing? So we spent Monday and Tuesday with a lot of great ideas on how to organize your workspace, because it's very different coming home from work and sitting there and popping out a couple emails versus this now needs to be my organized space. And so to other business leaders that have contacted me, hey, Monica, what are you guys doing? That's the first thing. Make sure everybody organizes their home office, whether that's a kitchen table or the coffee table, or you actually have a desk, or if it's your bedroom on the bed, whatever it is, because everybody's situation is different. Give yourself a space that is organized and that you can be productive still.
Great advice.
We implemented this project-based, not as an opportunity to help you. It was a mandatory, everybody's doing this. Here's your time slot for your training, sign up. And so they did. And there was a little bit of resistance at first because we're all so used to emails, but what they forget is you can also get up out of your desk and go talk to the person next to you, where you can't do that today.
Sure.
It's realistic, especially when you have people that are also now homeschooling their children. They've got their pets or their spouses or whatever. There's all these distractions, laundry sitting there staring at you, like all the things. So you have to have a place to communicate and be organized. And so we implemented Basecamp is what we're using. I know there's a lot of different software out there, and it's been amazing. We will continue to use it after this.
That's fantastic. Let me ask you a question. So you had them all go through training. This is brand new to everyone. Never used this before, and it was an idea that came from one of your team members, which I love. So how long did it take to actually train and then be fully implemented, or at least implemented enough to the point where it's working for you?
Sure, surprisingly, it was very fast. So I actually have two team members, Lisa and Callie, and what they did was they built the frame it worked for it. They created the different departments. Again, we're a small team, so we all interact a lot. So they were able to create each of the departments and a template for each department. And then they also did our in-house training, and then Basecamp had external training. So I would say from start to finish with everybody using it was about 5 days.
Wow.
And then last week was the first full week of full on using it. And we just kept being very intentional about saying, hey, we see that you're not in here, or I know that we just had this conversation. Can you recap it in Basecamp? I'm not seeing the document that you just shared in Basecamp. So it was just last week was a continuous reminder.
Mm-hmm.
And now I feel like everybody's very comfortable. They know where to go if they need help, and it's fully implemented. And this morning, something that I get every day is what am I going to be working on today from every employee? And I had all of those by 9:30 this morning, and it was awesome. So I know that they're on track for the week and for the day. And it just helps us to stay very productive, and it helps our communication to stay open, which is so important when you're so spread out.
So are you establishing daily goals and objectives for them? Are they creating their own goals? So there's a lot of communication that's going on.
Yeah.
How are you establishing the metrics and ensuring that those things are being executed on?
Sure. So my personality has always been to not micromanage to that extent. We are small, and everybody that we've hired, they are very talented and very capable. So instead of me doing that for them, they do that for me. Here is my goal for the week. Here are the ways that I'm going to implement it. And that is something that we've worked on up until this point, is to really give them the ability to organize for themselves and to set that expectation for themselves. So if I ever have somebody that emails me, hey, Monica, I have a question about blah, 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 I, in turn, never give the answer. It's always, what have you done and what have you found out? And then if you still need help, let me know. And it's just that way of making them do that for themselves and critical think and troubleshoot. And so long answer is that they typically give me their goals for the week. And then the metric is at the end of the week, there's a to-do list. And so and everything gets a due date. So we function a lot on due dates, because what we found out is that if you're given a task or you have a project and there's not a due date, it gets very easy. Every day there's a new priority, right? In business. Oh, well, now today that's my priority. Today that's my priority. So we set a date to everything. So due dates are the way that I can monitor if things are being done. It may not get done on the due date, then communicate that. Hey, I've got X, Y, and Z that came up. This is going to get pushed to blah, blah. Is that okay? And so again, the expectation is due dates and mini goals in the form of a to-do list, because I find that those little chunks, it feels really good to just be able to check something off and say, I completed that, versus it feeling so overwhelming, especially right now when everybody is more stressed than usual.
Exactly. So let's, well, first of all, I love the fact that you had your team create those to-dos and those goals. I mean, that gives them ownership, there's skin in the game, right? It's like they feel like they are part owner of this business, which is important. So that's excellent. Love that. And you mentioned a few minutes ago about keeping everyone motivated. So how has that changed for you remotely versus being in person together with your team? What are you doing now to keep everybody engaged and motivated?
Sure. So I feel like something that's really important is to make sure that you're communicating together. So aside from base camp, that does give us the ability to do that. I do get in on, we do FaceTime. We're having the most fun with FaceTime. There's a lot of different opportunity there. And so I get on with several of the team members throughout the week, just to have that human interaction. The FaceTime is really nice, just like this. It's really nice not to just hear the audio, but to be able to see there's people behind this, and we're still human, and we still need that. I need that. So we are doing a lot of FaceTime, just dropping tidbits of, hey, I'm really thankful for you. Let's all share our gratitude today. I do every Monday, I do something that's called Monday Moments with Monica or Monday Motivation with Monica, depending on the day.
Okay.
So they get an email from me, and it has, sometimes it's tips. Sometimes it's just my thoughts for the day. Today I was thankful for clean hair. Like, let's just be thankful for the little things, guys, So, and then it also has the expectations for the week. Hey, this is what you should be working on this week. Here's when I would like to see this done this week. And that would be like as a whole. And then maybe some updates. Like I invited them to this Zoom call today if they had time to put in their time block for the day. So that's another way that we communicate. And then every Tuesday we have a team meeting, and and our shirts. So we always wear shirts on Mondays when we're all in the office. And so we've continued that. Even though we're not home, it doesn't mean you can't put on your t-shirt and feel like you're still part of the team. And so we do that. Tuesdays, we have our team meeting every Tuesday at 10, and we're still having that, but we're having it live, and we're using Zoom. And that way everybody gets to see each other and interact. And we've extended it by about 10 minutes because they really do need to talk to each other. And so this is like, hey, this is how my weekend was. And it puts that human feeling back in it, and they love it. And so we do that. Some other things that we've implemented too are we use G Suite. So we have like Hangouts. So instead, what would be a typical weekly meeting, we do it as a hangout now. Again, just giving the visual. I think video is really important. So those are the ways that we've tried to keep our team motivated and making us still feel like a team. And I think that it's helpful. There's not much else you can do. So you just have to do what you can. I did drop off some little gift cards to my warehouse team over the last couple of weeks, just certain people, just to kind of keep everybody, hey, that was a little fun thing to come back to on a Monday. So just little things like that.
Oh, that's wonderful. Love it. Thank you for sharing those ideas. That's fantastic. So how about supply chain? Has this pandemic affected your supply chain and your ability to get raw materials and goods out to customers?
Sure. So yes. So, okay, we are laundry and household cleaning. Mm-hmm. We do not manufacture anymore. In 2016, we turned over all of our manufacturing. We had 3 manufacturers, we're down to 2. And yes, number one, shipping is affected worldwide because everybody is doing online shopping. And so there's that. And then the borders are being closed. Like we get our wool balls, our wool dry balls from Nepal. Well, their borders are closed and their businesses are shut down right now. So not only can they not produce, even if it was produced and they hurried up and put it on a container, it can't leave the country. So we have severe shipping delays worldwide. The one blessing in that is it is worldwide. So everybody expects it. The nice thing is that typically we have a 14-day turnaround for our big distributors, and we try to do a 5 to 7 day turnaround for our smaller companies that we work with. Mm-hmm. And you can be penalized financially for that. And so what we're finding right now is that they're not penalizing you. They're not charging you if you're late because they all know. Ingredient suppliers, again, same thing. Components, we have a lot of components. We have bags and bottles and labels and sprayers and caps and all these components, and then multiple ingredient suppliers. So there's definitely been some delays. Whenever we saw this coming, again, about 5 weeks ago, we had a conversation with our manufacturers and had them reach out to the suppliers. We wanted to see, okay, what purchase orders can we put in now to prepare for this? Mm-hmm. And within 7 days, there was a giant surge that we did not expect. And of course, we're cleaning and laundry and people are freaking out right now. So we ran out for the first time since 2008 of 3 of our top sellers. And we were like, what is happening? And how quickly can we get these back? So this is where you find out where your processes are broken and you fix them. This is where you implement standard operating procedures if you did not have them before. We learned that our manufacturing agreement needed to have some really strong terminology in there. And so we fixed that as well. I feel like during these times, and obviously a pandemic, nobody could have, foreseen this coming. So insert any other kind of, speed bump to the way we do business today, whether it's illness or absences or whatever, you have to figure out a way to move forward. Mm-hmm. And in this case, it's literally worst case scenario. And so I look at it as opportunity. We have all this opportunity to get really uber organized. The call that we had even this morning, right before I talked to you earlier today, we had a call with our supplier because we had some people that are sick, and not on our side, but on their side through the supply chain. And they're not sick with COVID, thankfully. They're just ill and out. But because everybody's being so cautious, they are putting them on a 2-week leave. So because of the conversation we had 5 weeks ago, they're already ready with temporary employees. Had we not prepared for that, the what if, they would not have been ready with temporary employees, which then would have affected our manufacturing. So again, this is the time to dig in and say, okay, how can we be best organized? So moving forward, we have great opportunity. This is where you put in your standard operating procedures. Maybe this is where you said, you know what, we've never come up with a training manual for new employees. Let's implement that and get feedback from all your employees and create an amazing training manual. Now's the time, because we hope that in the coming months, business is going to get back to usual, but I have a feeling it's going to be like a tsunami, and we're going to be right back in the position of not having all of this time that we have now. So we are telling people, listen, we're privileged, okay? If we're working, all of us on the Zoom call, we're privileged. We have the ability to still get a paycheck and still show up for work every day. So how are we going to use this time, this gift, to fully organize our workspace, clear the clutter, implement new technology? We've been wanting to change our website. I can't tell you for how long. Guess what? We're getting our website changed so that when we're ready to get back into business, it launches, it's fresh, we're ready, because now we can give some time to that. How can you take care of your health right now? You said you never had time to exercise. Take care of yourself. Go take the bubble bath. Go exercise. Get on a treadmill. Get outside and get some vitamin D. We have somebody in our organization that's been wanting to get their notary. Like, now's the time to get your notary. Some companies have continuing education that they may need to, get done. Get it done now, so you're not scrambling at the last minute before your license is going to expire. So there's all these things that you can do now to take advantage of this time and organize your life, organize your workspace, get the filing done that everybody hates doing. Last week I gave it a list of all the files I've been wanting to get done so that I can do my stack of paperwork, just boom, 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 get it all done. So my admin is working on that. The other thing that people can start working on now is kind of like our, base camp that we implemented, but some people want to try Slack out. Try it out now. Everybody has that. There's free trials on this stuff. So see if it works while you're slow, or while you have this unique situation that you need to communicate with everybody. So I feel like now.
I love your mindset and your can-do attitude, because you're focused on solutions. You're focused on what I can do right now and not letting the I can't do this enter into your stream of consciousness. So if
Right.
you're always looking at things with the right set of eyes and the right lens on how can I take this challenge that's in front of me and figure out where the opportunities are, where the solutions, leveraging your team, leveraging your vendors and your other strategic partners and other entrepreneurial groups, and talking about what's going on, focused on solutions.
Yeah.
I love that. What are you doing, just out of curiosity, to keep yourself motivated? And are you reading certain things? You mentioned you're listening to podcasts, but you come across to me as someone who is very positive and who is focused on the right things. Where does that come from for you?
So when I turned, let's see, I'll be 46 this year. When I turned 44, I had this mission to just be a better version of myself. And I really didn't know what that looked like, but I knew that, and much of you who are entrepreneurs or business leaders, or you work for a company where you're just so freaking busy all the time, plus you have a spouse, or plus you have kids, there's all this plus, we can only do so much. Well, what I found was that I was doing, but not for me. And so that was the year I was like, okay, I've got to be a better version of me. And being a better version of me is not working to the bone. It's working smarter, not harder.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned at that point to put a do not disturb on my phone after 7:30. I don't need to talk to anybody after 7:30 for work. It can wait till tomorrow. And if they really needed to get a hold of me, obviously they can, and I would answer. So answer your question in a roundabout way. For me, this has not been immediate. This has been something that I've been working on for a while. And that's why it's important to implement things in life to where when the shit does hit the fan, you're prepared, you're ready. The other thing is surrounding myself by other business leaders that motivate me. Maybe it's because they have a different skill, or maybe they have a similar personality to me and they're doing something that I never thought about doing before. And so I found a couple mentors online that I follow and I watch, and I glean excitement from that and innovation from that. And then just challenging myself. My husband's awesome. He's my best friend. He gives me really great business advice, but he also allows me an ear. And so something that we do is we do patio sessions where we'll sit down and he'll tell me about his day and I tell him about mine, or when I feel like quitting my job or quitting my career and selling the company because I've had a crazy day, he'll walk me off or talk me off the ledge. And so I think you've got to have that partner that you can be real and you can be you. And then, yes, there are definitely some amazing books out there that I've read. I like the ones that are more we have, like, you can't see, but we've got a ton of business books in the background here that we have, and bookcases full of them. But right now I'm reading Get Out of Your Own Way by Dave Hollis.
Okay.
And I read Rachel Hollis, his wife, wrote a couple books. And it's tangible because they're real. They're not writing it from necessarily professional standpoint. And so sometimes I really like those to where it's a little mindless and I can tap into it whenever I need to and not learn a skill. But the other part of it is speaking your truth and knowing when you need to have those heart-to-hearts with people. And at the end of the day, staying positive in times like these especially is so important, because we don't have time, even though we have all this time, we don't have time to allow it to bog us down and to get us down. We still have a company to run. We still have people to keep motivated. We still have a job to do. We still have sales goals to meet. So there's really no room for allowing the negativity. Instead, that's why I do focus. My personality is typically to focus on the positive, and allow myself baby tiny pity parties that I can jump out of pretty quickly. So that's what we're doing now. And I am experiencing both ends. Molly's Suds is doing phenomenal. because of the surge in cleaning and people wanting to wash all the things. We have another company called the Refillery, and it's connected to our building, but it's retail. And I had to furlough 3 employees on that side because people aren't shopping right now. Mm-hmm. And you can buy bulk cleaning supplies in there, but they're not leaving their home. So we had to innovate. What can we do to still cover payroll for the employees that we didn't have to furlough, to still keep the lights on? And so we reduced our hours in half, and we are using social media like crazy to come up with these DIY ideas, because people can come and buy the ingredients to make the DIYs.
Okay.
And then we thought, what are people doing? They're stuck at home with their kids, by themselves, whatever, but you're bored. And so we created these DIY take-home kits, and they can pull into the driveway. We'll give it to them. We'll walk it up to their car and give it to them. And then we can do some refills for them. They can stay in their car, and then they're on their way. And so again, innovation. How can you make the best out of the worst? And you can only do what you can do, but you've got to continuously be thinking about ways to innovate. And how today, like all this technology that we're doing today and all the organization that's coming from this, it's just going to make you better as you grow.
Hear, hear. From your lips. I love it. Thank you. So I have 2 quick questions for you before we wrap up. I want to be respectful of your time. One is, what are you most grateful for?
I think I'm most grateful for my health. Right now, it would be very difficult to do this if I was sick. So I'm very thankful for my health, but I'm also very, very thankful for my very amazing Molly Suds team and my husband. Without those 3 things, I would not be able to be successful, not just during these times, but ever. So I'm really thankful for that.
Excellent. Very good. And the second thing, for those that are interested to learn more about your business and also want to be able to engage with you, buy your products, how do we reach you? What's the best way?
Absolutely. So you can visit us on mollyssuds.com. So it's MOLLYSSUDS.com. And we sell online direct through our website, also on Amazon, Thrive, Target, Grove Collaborative. So however, and read about us, read about our ingredients and our integrity, and because you can also learn what ingredients to avoid in other products, even if you don't buy Molly Suds.
Very good. Thank you for that. And thank you so much for spending some time with us today and sharing your story, sharing what you're passionate about, and also helping other business owners and leaders in the community that I know are going to walk away with not only a much more positive outlook on things, but also some insights that you shared that they can begin to implement in their own businesses to keep their teams engaged, keep their businesses moving forward. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. And I wish you the best of success, continued health and happiness. Keep that business going and stay positive. And for everybody else out there, stay healthy, stay optimistic, and have a wonderful week. And thank you again so much for joining us. Thank you, Monica.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.